Is it possible to be excited about our life, yet still be detached? Absolutely. You know, the concept of detachment or vairagya is the Sanskrit term that we use for that state of non-attachment, is a term that is very frequently and very tragically misunderstood. When it gets translated to English, and it gets translated as a detachment, disconnection, non-connection, we take it to mean as though I really am detached, not connected. But detachment, when it's the translation of vairagya, is not really the synonym of disconnection. See, in English, to be attached is to be connected. I have a blouse. The blouse has two parts. They attach to each other. They connect, right? Whatever you have two things. You connect them, you attach them. They're almost synonyms, almost the exact same meaning. To attach, to connect. So when we translate vairagya as detachment, it also gets translated as disconnection. I am no longer connected. And this is where you get a lot of indifference. You get a lot of apathy. You get a lot of the opposite of compassion, connection, which actually is what our spiritual path is about. So it's this very tragic irony of an improper semantic translation. So let me try to take it in a more correct way. Will you go out and ask them to stop doing that work up there? Thanks. So on our spiritual path, vairagya is supposed to be that which enables us to move through the world, doing our dharma, doing our duties, but not attached to the fruits of our actions. This is Bhagavad Gita 101. Do your duty, do your dharma, fulfill what you are here on earth to do. Do it with sincerity. Do it with connection. Do it with love. Do it with devotion. Do it with wisdom. Do it with all these virtues. And do not be attached to the end results. That is the detachment. It is the opposite of attachment. As in, I plant the seeds, I water them, I shine the sun on them, I plant them in the right part of my garden. But actually, what's going to sprout, what's going to flower, what's going to fruit, not in my hands, it's in God's hands. And so vairagya is the ability to be non-attached to the fruits. Why? Because otherwise we're frustrated. It's not for some very obscure reason that we need to be non-attached, unattached. It's because if I am attached, when what I want to happen happens, I'm happy. When what I want to happen doesn't happen, I'm miserable. And since the spiritual path is a path that's not about riding the waves that go up and enjoying it, and then when you come crashing down being miserable, but it's actually about being anchored and grounded in something that is deeper, eternal, unchanging. It can't be success, failure, gain over loss, appreciation over non-appreciation, joy over misery. It can't be that, because that goes up and down. And so the reason that we are supposed to be unattached, that we're supposed to have vairagya, is very simple. So that we are not frustrated and miserable, so that we are able to anchor ourselves and ground ourselves in that which is eternally true. Now, can you still be excited by life? Of course. We are supposed to be excited about life. Life is a gift. Think about any gift you've given someone. Would you ever want to give someone a gift and expect them to ignore it, hate it, stick it in a closet and pretend it didn't exist? I mean, imagine you go through all the trouble of finding a beautiful gift, finding the right gift, making it exactly what that person needs. Because remember, it's for someone not only that you know very well, intimately, but you also love intimately. And you give them a gift. Do you really want them to ignore it? To pretend you never gave it? To push it away? To spend their whole lives learning to not enjoy that gift? I mean, it's crazy, right? So God, who knows us intimately because God has created us, God who loves us deeply, has given us this gift of life, has given each of us a gift that is slightly different from the other because of the intimate way that God knows our soul, our karmic package, what we need. Does it make any sense at all from any perspective that God, as the giver of this gift, would want us to just say, yeah, that's fine, forget about it. I'm going to just pretend that it didn't exist? Of course not. Would we be given these 5 senses, the ability to see and to behold and love a sunset, a flower opening, the sound of beautiful music, the sound of Om, the sound of chanting? If we were just supposed to stop paying attention to the sunrises and sunsets, to the beautiful music, to the beautiful sights and sounds and tastes? Of course not. To the smell of a flower? Of course not. We are supposed to enjoy, we're supposed to be excited. What we are not supposed to do is be attached to the universe behaving the way that we think it should. That's what it means. And here for me is the easiest way to understand that on a scriptural level. So vairagya, in the Hindu scriptures, a lot of the virtues are personified. So they're not just a virtue, but they actually are a being who was incarnated and lived and has a story. So vairagya is the son of bhakti. Now, bhakti is devotion, but not dry, kind of indifferent, apathetic. You couldn't have devotion that was dry and indifferent anyway. But bhakti is juicy. Ras is the word that we use in Hindi for ras. It's the essence. It's the juicy essence. So bhakti is juicy love, juicy devotion for God. Vairagya is bhakti's son, which means in order to get vairagya, you need bhakti. Now, how can dry, apathetic, indifferent detachment come from juicy, devoted love. Can't. And he wasn't adopted. The only way for real vairagya to come, and this for me was the aha moment, was I realized, oh wait, it's been simply mistranslated. It is not detachment. It is not the opposite of connection. Vairagya should have been translated as reattachment. You've got to have bhakti first. You cannot have a child without the mother. So we go first to the mother, to bhakti, devotion for God, love for God. We attach ourselves to God with love. And then what happens? Automatically, this attachment to who's saying what, who's doing what, who has more money than I do, who has less money than I do, who has a nicer office than I do, who's getting more esteem than I'm getting, who's getting more respect than I'm getting, who does different people speak about nicer or not as nice. All this nonsense that fills most of our life, it dissipates. Not because I've had to push it away, not because I've said I don't care, I am disconnected, but because I have reattached myself so completely to love for God that who's saying what to whom is suddenly of no interest to me, automatically. That who's making more money than I am? Who's got a nicer house or car than I have? Irrelevant to me. If you were walking down the beach, this is my favorite way of thinking about it. If you were walking down the beach collecting seashells, pretty rocks, you'd collect them. They're all you've got. You hold them in your hands. Very nice, sparkly, shiny. If at the end of the beach, suddenly there's a guy with a bucket full of diamonds, and he's pouring diamonds out. But you look down, your hands are already full of seashells. What are you going to do? Throw it away. Throw away the seashells, of course. Because in that moment you understand these diamonds are of infinitely more value to me than the seashells I've been picking up. But if before you got to the diamonds, somebody said, detach yourself from your seashells, you'd say, no way, I just spent the last 2 hours collecting them. They're pretty, they're shiny, they're nice, I want them. No. But the minute the diamonds are there, no one has to say, give me your seashells. You understand I cannot hold both in my hand and the diamonds are of more value. So this is how vairagya works. It's not about pushing away the world. It's about realizing the value of devotion to God, the value of a spiritual path, the value of experiencing peace and bliss and joy and divine connection. It's not about pushing away the things of life. That happens automatically because you realize I cannot simultaneously be swimming in love for God, in love for creation, in oneness with the Creator and creation, and also really upset about how this person talked to me this morning. There just isn't room to hold both realities simultaneously. And I have to choose. Am I prepared to give up the joy, the peace that I was living in order to be really annoyed? How dare that person? Don't they know who I am? Who the hell do they think they are, right? I mean, I could do that. Or I could stay in my peace. could hold on to the seashells, or I could hold the diamonds. It's up to us. But when we realize the value, automatically we let go of the rest. So by all means, be excited about life, enjoy life, embrace life, connect to life. But connect to it at its deepest, highest level. Don't connect to the little waves that just keep going up and down, up and down, up and down. Surfing is fun, but it gets tiring very quickly. Connect yourself to the depths. Connect yourself to that which isn't constantly going up and down. That's what our spiritual path gives us. And that, by the way, is very exciting as well. You know, if you look at the ocean from up above it, or even just from sitting on the beach, it looks very beautiful. If you go swimming, but you don't put your head under, still very beautiful. Ocean is very beautiful. But you put on a snorkeling mask and you stick your face actually in the water, how much more beautiful. But then people who go scuba diving say, oh my God, snorkeling is nothing. You haven't seen the beauty of the ocean until you've gone scuba diving. And this is true not just for life in the ocean, but this is true for life with a capital L. Live on the surface, yeah, it seems nice. Go up and down, lots of waves, okay. Look a little bit deep, it starts to get more beautiful. The deeper you go, the more beautiful it gets, the more exciting it gets. We think, oh, all the excitement is on the surface. The minute I become spiritual, I lose the excitement. I've had people say, oh, I don't want to start to meditate because I love the excitement of my life. I say, you don't know what excitement is. You're living in the excitement of waves that go up and down. Talk to a scuba diver about what real excitement in the ocean can be. Talk to a meditator about what real excitement can be. And so we love the excitement. It's just that our definition, our experience of excitement changes, like it does from swimming on the waves to actually scuba diving into the depths.